So as many of you know, this channel is about trying new things, and one of the things that I did not get to do when they first come out was actually read the Harry Potter series. And you know, I'm in my almost mid-30s, and I'm actually also never seen the videos at this point, mainly because I didn't get to read the books. I never really got the interest to also see the videos or see the movies. But I've heard a lot about them, and I had a lot of friends around my age who were really big Harry Potter fans, and I kind of got to the point where I wanted to understand what they were talking about, because a lot of them talk about it a lot. So I have a friend here in town who loaned me the first 4 so far Harry Potter books. And now I will tell you one thing, when it comes to books that have been made movies, I am a very big advocate of reading the books first. So I still haven't seen a movie because I wanted to read all the books first and get my own idea of this universe before I go and let someone with their own artistic style define that universe for me. So if you are into any sort of book or any sort of movie that was a book first, I highly suggest reading the books first, just so that your own view of the actual story is not skewed, because movies have to cut out a lot of the important things that, well, not necessarily important. They get artistic liberties to change some aspects or to drop things in the interest of keeping a shorter film. For instance, it took me about 5 hours to read through this book, about 4 hours to read through this first book, and I'm pretty sure the movie's maybe 2 hours. So that's half this book that isn't going to be covered by the movie. So that being said, I definitely advocate for reading the book first, which is what I did. And so this is an older millennial. I hate to say that I'm a millennial, but I am a millennial. Not I hate to say, I shouldn't say that, but yes, I am on the high end of the millennial range. And so I am an older millennial experiencing the Harry Potter universe for the first time. So I started, of course, I have to do everything chronologically. I started with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And this is just, I'm not going to like summarize it, because there are most likely other people out there who have not read these as well. And I don't want to spoil anything. So there are no spoilers in this video, but I did want to say, I just wanted to give my thoughts on it as an older person who has never read the books and never seen the videos until now. I will say one thing is, I actually really do like these books. Growing up, I heard a lot of bad things about them. I was in a very strict church growing up that banned these, Pokemon, strangely not Lord of the Rings, but they banned a lot of these cultural, well, not cultural, because this is definitely not a cultural book, but they banned a lot of these things that were coming out when I was old enough to be into these things. Mainly because I didn't know what they were, and it was a protective measure against, you know, letting something bad get into the youth of the church. And you know, there's thoughts on that, and I won't go into that, but just I will say that I actually really did enjoy reading through these books. I had learned, or I had been told growing up, that it was like equated to Lord of the Rings, which was something we were allowed to read. I would not go so far as to say that. Lord of the Rings was written for the same age group, but it has a stronger, more adult language. Like, even as an adult reading Lord of the Rings, there's some things that's sometimes hard to grasp or hard to wrap your head around. Harry Potter is incredibly simple to read. And if you just heard that, my dog just jumped up on the bed. And I also have a kitty right here at my feet. It's a very simple read. Again, you know, it's 309 pages. Took me about 4 hours. Very easy read. First thing I picked up on was, of course, Harry Potter in the very first book is 11 years old, and so my immediate thought was that this book was written for an 11-year-old. So I read the entirety of this book with that mindset, thinking this is a children's book, and not even a children's book, a preteens book. So there were some things that were in here that kind of surprised me, a little bit darker, a little bit sadder, but also some things that didn't surprise me, like a lot of stupidity for a kid. And that is just an aspect of growing up. I did like that there was that aspect of there's a lot of room to grow for these characters. There's a lot of things they don't know as kids, as well, Harry Potter as a wizard. I felt as lost as Harry Potter did, and I liked that. I could relate to him because I was thrown into a world that I did not know, I did not understand, I had no concept of before picking up the book, and I struggled through it like he did. Like, what were all these things that they were talking about? What were the aspects? Yes, that is my kitty paw. Hi, Sly. He likes to tap me when I'm talking. So I did really enjoy that. Hi, buddy. Hi. Hey. What you doing, huh? What you doing? What are you doing? Can you let me finish my thought here? So I did really enjoy the world of this story. I will say this, there are some holes, obviously, that if I was a kid reading this, I would not care about, or maybe I would, because I would have thought it was a really cool thing that these kids no longer have to do reading, writing, arithmetic as classes. They are doing harder things in some of the next couple of books that I will get to, but like, as wizards that go to these schools that are now fully dedicated to the magic of the world, they aren't learning the basic skills taught for adulthood. Again, math, money keeping, things like that. So I'm interested. I know that's kind of an artistic liberty, and I'm interested to see. I haven't finished the whole series. I've finished through book 4 as of right now. But I'm interested to see if that kind of comes up in the end as Harry Potter and his friends get older. I'm very interested. I will say this, the one thought I did have was it immediately reminded me of one of my favorite movies called Matilda, in that the adults and the level of abuse that Harry Potter takes from his Muggle family is not even borderline criminal. It's like incredibly criminal and never once addressed as such. Harry Potter has like no PTSD, no trauma, no real baggage based around his living family. Now there's other baggage there that again I won't get into, that I really liked the aspect of him learning and experiencing and growing and just finding out what happened to him as a kid. I did like that aspect, but I had to remember myself that this isn't a book based around an 11-year-old who will think that it's that concept of, to him, these guys are like incredibly criminalistically like savage to him. Bye, kitty. And so that reminded me of Matilda, which I absolutely adored in Matilda because it was the same thing. The adults, except for Mrs. Honey, were criminally negligent and even abusive, and it was just like normal. And as a kid, like I remember growing up just swearing that every time I had to do chores, I was Cinderella. I had to do the most chores, I had to do them all. Parents never did anything. They didn't do anything to take care of us. If I wanted to eat, I had to go fix it myself. I was like 9, so this was a thing. And it just made me think of that. So I again, that was something I actually enjoyed as an aspect of the book. Would I recommend it? I would say yes. I would recommend this series. I will get into some other thoughts on some of these other upcoming books that I have a few reservations about. But for the first book of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, I do recommend it. It was a very good read, a very easy read. This would be a fun read as a family. if you have not read it already. And by this point, I'm guessing most of my viewers already have, not only have already read it, but have seen all the books and probably have merchandise. I don't even own these books, these are borrowed. So I will be fixing that. Eventually I'll be getting the series so I can reread them again with new knowledge. I like to reread things. So yes, that is my thoughts on my very first experience with Harry Potter. I will say, I had to ask a coworker how to pronounce Hermione. I still can't even say it. I've been practicing in my head and I haven't said it out loud. Hermione, I think is how it's pronounced. Her name, and I think they were saying Hermione, but there's in another book it actually like phonetically spells it out as Hermione. Where the stress is in the syllable, I don't know. But anyway, that was fun because every time I read her name, I read it a different way. And I started cracking myself up because I just started calling her Hermie because I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to pronounce that name. So that was a little fun tidbit. But I do like the dynamic between Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Very, very fun friendship. And for the record, yes, I am Hermione all the way, 100%. Don't know the answer. It's in a book somewhere. Go find it. That's it.